Welcome to another cooking episode for your crock pot. Today the Florida man will be making lasagna soup. So we need to start off by browning some ground sausage. So I have two pounds here of ground Italian sausage. We're going to go ahead and brown that up, I'm sorry. We're also going to start preparing our carrots because that's going to take a while to cut up. So while the pan is heating up a little bit, we're going to get our carrots, start getting some of our carrots ready. And they bought the baby carrots. You could use these baby carrots, or you can get a pack of fresh carrots and cut them up. It doesn't matter because you got to cut them up either way. So we're going to take a bunch out here and start trying to cut some of these up. While we're browning the ground beef once the pan gets hot enough. So we're gonna basically try to just make some decent slices, not too big, not too small. So it's gonna get a little tedious cutting each one of these like this, but you don't want to use them whole like this because we do have to put those in the frying pan as well to soften them up before they go in the crock pot. And as soon as the pan gets hot enough, we will put our ground sausage in there and start browning that. But this way you save some time instead of doing one thing at a time. Try to keep them on the cutting board if possible. The recipe for this will be in the description, so make sure you check out the description if you want to make this yourself. This is actually my first time making this. I found this recipe on my Amazon device a while ago and been wanting to try it, and I just have never done it, so we're going to try it today. Alright, we're starting to get a little warm here. So we're going to go ahead and put our ground sausage up. Maybe. Relax me. And we're going to put both in at the same time. Alright, so the ground sausage is in the pot, in the frying pan. We have our spatula ready for when we need it. I'm going to let that cook, simmer a little bit as we continue to work on our carrots. Normally I would fast forward through the cutting of the carrots, but since we're also browning the sausage at the same time, This is on regular recording. So, and we're just making slices here. You can start to hear the ground sausage sizzling. The prep time for all this, which reminds me, let me start the prep time counter. The prep time and the all the directions as well as the ingredients again will be in the description. So we're gonna go ahead and flip these a little bit. We will be breaking this up, but I just wanted to cook a little bit in the frying pan first. And I do have this kind of on medium high, so I am browning this on medium high. It's just basically the same as you would brown, like brown ground beef or anything else. It's just this recipe I'm using ground sausage. And I do cook for 5 people at a time. So this recipe, I kind of doubled the recipe myself. So if you need to make a smaller batch, cut the recipe in half. But I doubled what the recipe actually called for. So the recipe that's in the description will be for the amount that I make today. Which I'm not even sure if it's going to be enough or too little, because like I said, this is the first time I am making this. So we are experimenting with our crock pot today. So I'm going to start to probably break this up a little bit. Now, I know browning meat, sometimes the grease will splatter and stuff, so we're taking a risk being Florida man here today. But I'm going to take that risk for my fans here, for my followers. I will tell you one thing, this ground sausage is definitely a little harder to chop up, at least in the beginning, than ground beef. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And we're going to keep working on our carrots. I don't know if I'm going to use the whole bag, but we want to make sure we have enough so that our soup is nice and hearty. And of course, the good thing about these baby carrots, as you're cooking and chopping them up, if you get hungry, Doesn't hurt to snag a carrot once in a while. So as you can see, I do have them sliced. They're sliced, but not completely thin. So we're going to take some more carrots out here because I think I'm going to need some more. Chop those up first and see what we have, how much we have chopped up. Let's check our ground sausage. Make sure we're not sticking to the pot too much. Try to chop it up a little more. And we'll go back to our carrots. Now as you can see, I'm resting the blade of the knife on the cutting board and using the back of the knife blade to cut the carrots. It gives you a little more leverage and control of the knife so that you can make some faster cuts without cutting your finger. The thicker the carrot, obviously the harder it is to cut as well. So you always want to use, at least on the knife I'm using, the back of the blade, rest the top of the blade on the cutting board, and you cut with more of the back of the blade. It gives you more leverage. It makes the cut easier. You could also use your finger on the top of the blade, like I am right here. Gives you a little more leverage if you need it. So, and if you're good, like I'm going to do here, I can probably do two at once. Although sometimes that's a little harder because you're, depending on the thickness of each one, you're going through two different thickness carrots. But sometimes I like to try and save some time because this is very tedious. And as much as I like cooking, I don't like to spend an hour cutting things up. So, but I think we're going to have enough with the amount of carrots I have taken out. Oh, we can already smell the sausage. It smells delicious. So we're going to go ahead and flip some of this so that we're making sure we're getting both sides, because you don't want any pink in this when you're ready to add it to the crock pot. And we'll come back to our carrots. So, yeah, I think we're going to have plenty of carrots with what I took out. You could use the whole bag. It probably would fit in the crock pot. But like I said, this is very tedious and tiring. So, I don't want to spend all day cutting carrots. So it could be possible by the time we're done our carrots, or by the time we're done browning our sausage, our carrots will be cut up that we need. Now, some of these are bigger than others, so I kind of try to match up the size for if I'm cutting two at the same time. Just to make it easier. And sometimes they're just really thick that I have to switch back to just doing one. Especially if you have arthritis in your hands like I do, it makes some of this chopping a little hard on your hand. So we're definitely sizzling, so that's good. And we are almost done our carrots that we're going to use. Because the other thing with the crock pot is you want to make sure you're not overfilling the crock pot, otherwise it's not going to cook right. Alright, we've got two last carrots that we're going to be cutting up. Whoops, that one didn't cut right. Alright, so that's our carrots. Alright, we're also going to be putting some onions in this as well. Let's check our ground sausage first. And you notice I'm holding the spatula kind of close. I do not normally recommend that for most people. I'm doing it because I was just cutting up the carrots, and because of my arthritis in my hand hurts. So I have to be careful that I don't splatter grease all over the place. Alright, so that's still browning. We still got some pink in there. Okay, now we got our onions. Now normally I would peel the onions and then I have a special chopper for the onions. But as I've been told, that has not been unpacked yet. So I now have to do it manually. So I basically cut the ends of the onions off. And then I just make a little slit in the side of the onion. Just like that. And I peel one layer of the onion off. And then I have a peeled onion. So I will do that for the other 3 onions, and then we will chop up the onions. So I threw that peel out. So we're going to do the same thing with these 3 onions, and then we'll chop them all up. Again, we're just going to peel just one layer of the onion off. Alright, we got 3 done. We got 1 more to do. Then we will check on our sausage and come back for the onion. Hopefully you're not all like me, that when you're chopping onions or even peeling onions, that it makes you cry. Because it makes me cry. And nobody wants to see the Florida man cry now, do we? Alright, so we're going to go ahead, mix this up some more. We're getting there. Almost done. Like I said, you don't want any pink, and you want it chopped up as pretty good as much as you can get it. Chandler apparently sees somebody outside or whatever. Actually, this is just about ready. So we're gonna go ahead, turn this off for now, and we're gonna go ahead and put this into our crock pot. So let me see how I can do this. Bring you guys with me. Or try to bring, actually I'm just gonna turn you around to see the crock pot. Alright, so to see the crock pot, we're gonna go ahead and then put the ground sausage into the crock pot. So I probably could have used 3 pounds, but I only put in 2, but that's alright. It's a learning experience for the next time. So we're going to turn you guys back around and we're going to chop up our onions. Whoops, let's get you so you guys can see. It's a little hard going backwards. Alright, so now we're going to chop up the onions manually. And you just want them in small pieces, along with just like the carrots. All right. And we just want them in small pieces. Doesn't matter if it mixes with the carrots because they're going in the same pot anyway.
That's his mattress and this is his frame.
So I just do them in slices one way, and then I take the onion and I go the opposite way. And you want to make sure none of them are too big. That's why normally I would use my onion chopper, but
Just packed away.
Always have a nice dry towel near you for when you start crying over the onions. Because you don't want to rub your eyes if you start crying with your hands after cutting onions. That'll just make it worse. Use a towel or washcloth. Never ever use your hand. You will be sorry if you do.
Yeah, it was the one that we're gonna get.
Oh. Maybe not there.
You took more. I'll tell them. Don't worry about it.
I'll be back with this.
So we got 2 more. Actually, I might not even use the last one because we got a lot of onions here. A lot of cameo appearance on camera today. Alright, so I would say use 3 nice sized onions. You don't need 4. Alright, so we got our carrots and onions ready. Now we're going to put our pan. I'm going to just use the same pan because it's all going in the same pot anyway. So even though this is the pan you use to brown your ground sausage, I'm going to use the same pan. This time I'm going to turn it on more medium high to more towards the medium side. We're going to add a little bit of oil in the pan.
Should be right over there. Should be right over there somewhere.
You could use butter if you wanted. I'm just going to use a little bit of oil. Just enough to kind of coat the bottom. And we're going to wait for this to heat up a little bit again because it started cooling off, and we will put our vegetables in. In the meantime, I'm taking care of the onion peels that I did earlier. Alright, and I had to get my iPad so I remember the cooking time. Okay. Alright, so that's good enough. So we're going to go ahead and add our carrots and our onions to the pot. Now we can bring you a little closer so you guys can see. And we're just going to saute these up until the onions and carrots are pretty soft. So I might even turn it up a little bit. And I'm going to try to mix it up as well while we're in here. And we're going to let that simmer and keep checking it till it's soft. No, miss me out. We're just getting our canned goods that we're going to be using as well.
Yes, we get you a new collar.
You do realize that some of these are no salt, right?
Sorry.
So, setting up my canned goods here so you guys can see in a second what else is going to be added to this recipe. So we will be adding diced tomatoes, peas, string beans, and chicken broth when it's time. That's just my father-in-law. Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Ignore the guy that's cooking.
He said ignore the guy that's cooking. So they're starting to get soft, but not quite there yet. Especially the carrots are going to take a little bit because of being fresh carrots. So we're probably going to turn it up a little more.
Boston chocolate milk.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead while that's sauteing, because it doesn't matter what order we put them in. So I'm going to turn you towards the crock pot. We're going to go ahead and add one of the containers of chicken broth for now. Because we're going to mix it up once everything is in here anyway. Alright, so that's one thing of chicken broth. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to drain our string beans. Again, you don't want to splatter yourself with the string bean sauce like I just did. But you do want to drain the string beans. And pour them into the crock pot. And I am putting 2 cans of string beans in and 2 cans of peas. Now we will do the peas. I can tell you right now that's already looking pretty hearty and we don't even have everything in there yet. Alright, we're going to put our peas in. Now we're going to come back over here and check on our onions and carrots. Stirring them up a little bit so the ones on top can go on the bottom. Like I said, we want them somewhat soft. Okay, and now we will get ready to add 4 cans of diced tomatoes. So we're going to switch you back to the crock pot area. And we're going to go ahead and get ready to open these. So I'm opening 2 of the cans first. Because like I said, we also want to make sure we're not overfilling the crock pot. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 of these first and see what we have.
Now that long box is the frame, right? The metal frame? It's almost like your frame, right? And you can open the box.
I'm going to wait to add any more. I may only add 1 more can right now. I'm going to wait to see if we need the 3rd can after I put the onions and carrots in. Alright, so right now we have put 3 cans of diced tomatoes in. We're going to turn you back around to the carrots. It's a whirlwind today. You guys are on a ride, all the spinning. Alright, we're going to take out a carrot here just to check the texture. Alright, that's good. They're not completely soft yet, but that's alright. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. Gonna turn you guys back around to the crock pot. See if we can get you, there you guys go. We're gonna add the carrots and the onions now. I'm trying to not put all the grease in. A lot of it's going in, but that's alright. But not all of it's going in, so that's good. Now we're going to grab a spoon so we can see. As you can already see, it's kind of to the top to begin with. And we do have one more step that we have to do. So I don't think we're going to add the third can of diced tomatoes. So we're just going to try and stir this up a little bit.
Here's the thing, I have a feeling that she's going to want to get you in trouble.
You the contact?
I'm sorry. What the name?
Buddha? Best.
So we are not going to add the fourth can of diced tomatoes, that's for sure. So this is what it looks like right now. Gonna go ahead and cover that. We're gonna plug this in. We're gonna go check the recipe because I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so for this one, you're gonna turn it on. We want low for 4 hours. And then in 4 hours, we will be back to add the next step. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours and we're gonna go check how we're doing. So that's how we're looking so far. And it's time to add the lasagna noodles. So we're gonna go ahead and set you guys down. And we're going to zoom you in a little bit. Whoops. Enjoy the ride. Alright, so we got our box of lasagna noodles. And we are going to be breaking these up to put into the lasagna soup. So we're just going to break them up into little pieces like that and just put them in. So we're going to break up a bunch of these. I'm trying to break them up so they're mostly square, but that's not always easy. Gonna stir these in a little bit. Now the recipe I got it from didn't actually stir the noodles in, but I'm gonna stir some in towards the bottom as well. I want to try to make sure that the noodles are getting covered by the liquid so that the noodles have a chance to cook. We grabbed the piece we don't want to leave on the floor for the animals to get. Again, I'm trying to get these into the liquid as much as I can so that they have a chance to boil a little bit. And the recipe didn't really say how many noodles to put in, so I'm trying to squeeze a whole box in, or as many as I can. Probably get one more in. Get one more in. Actually, I'm going to try and squeeze at least another one in.
You want the footwear?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Alright, I'm going to try and... I know I said that was the last one, but I'm going to try and just squeeze one more in here. I just want to make sure there's enough noodles for everybody, you know? Well, I might be able to get one more in. Alright, we'll do one more. Alright, we'll show you guys what that looks like. So now we have our lasagna noodles in here as well. And we will put this back on for another hour. And then we will come back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and check and make sure our lasagna noodles are soft. Let's see. Some of them are a little hard still, but that's alright. We'll push those down in. And we're going to go ahead and add the shredded cheese now.
Good kid, man.
Can't do it.
So we are adding 2 8-ounce packs of shredded mozzarella cheese.
you got?
And we will show you what that looks like now. We will cover this and come back when this is melted and it will be ready. Okay, we are gonna go check our cheese and see how we are doing. Looks like we're ready. So let's serve some up and see what it looks like.
Now you can stop playing. This is they were playing.
Let me put that down for a second. And we got cheese all over this. There we go. And ta-da! Lasagna soup. Thank you all for watching. This has been another episode of Cooking with Triton, aka Florida Man, and we will see you next time.